real estate investing, your journey. Where'd the first property come from? Walk us through that.
First property was a house hack.
Okay.
And this was before I'd ever heard anything about Bigger Pockets.
Okay.
When did y'all start Bigger Pockets? When was Bigger Pockets started?
Ooh, good question. I think it's 20 years old now. So
Okay.
Josh would have started it 20 years ago, and the podcast started 12 years ago.
Yeah, so this was 2004.
Okay. Yeah, it would have been like just being birthed then, yeah.
I mean,
it might have been at the time Bigger Pockets what it was before real estate? Have you heard about this?
No.
So Bigger Pockets before that, even when the name was invented, Josh wasn't doing real estate yet. So it was a site for actors to learn how to make more money as an actor.
Was Josh an actor?
Yeah, Josh was an actor, and so
Really?
yeah, Josh was actually on a couple episodes like SNL as like an extra or like a character actor in SNL and a few other bunch of movies. Anyway, so Josh started that, but then he didn't get any traction, so he pivoted. And was like, well, why don't I teach real estate investing through this name, Bigger Pockets? So Bigger Pockets started as an actor thing.
That's very cool.
Anyway, sorry, okay, keep going.
No.
So house hack.
Yeah. So did a house hack.
What was that, like single family house or duplex?
Single family house in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
It was a 3-bedroom. I actually converted the garage on it and rented it out to my friends. So, I found myself at one point, I had 3 roommates. I was cash flow positive, on my mortgage. So I was living for free. And then I'd fixed the house up. And then I bought the house down the street and did a flip and made money on that as well. And at the same time, I was learning appraisal. I'd got my real estate license. And I was kind of off to the races.
How'd you finance that first flip? A lot of people struggle with that first flip, how to get the money for it.
That's a great question. I think I just went to the bank.
Oh, really?
I didn't no Bigger Pockets. I had no clue about private money,
Yeah.
and I had, I was not listening to anything. I was just like, how do I buy a house? That's what pretty much everybody does. I think with their first deals, they just go to the bank and they put 20% down, right? But I'll never forget the lady across the street. That this house was in bad shape. It was a foreclosure. The lady across the street told me right after I'd closed on it, she was like, "You just bought that?" She was like, "You're going to lose so much money." Probably was this older lady, and I was like, I had when I sold it, I think I made like $25,000 on this flip or something. I was like, the thought crossed my mind, man, I should go get this money in like cash in a wheelbarrow and just wheel it right up to her front door and knock and be like, it worked out.
That's such a good lesson in remembering that not to listen to people who shouldn't be listened to about this topic, right? Like,
totally.
What do they know?
Yeah.
I mean, then people have told me the same thing. You're going to lose money on that. Don't do real estate. It's a bad idea.
I think it's honestly kind of like, it's the test for should I do it?
Yeah.
If you come up with an idea and you tell somebody, and then somebody that's kind of a naysayer, negative type tells you, no, you really shouldn't do that. You're like, okay, now we're really going to do this. Yeah. But yeah, I did that, and then I left. So I sold my real estate and went and hiked the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I sold the real estate in like early 2008, like late 2007, early 2000. So I missed the meltdown. I mean, that was just luck. But went on the Appalachian Trail and I went with a friend from college and hiked Georgia to Pennsylvania. So we did 1,100 miles, and it was 3.5 months of like living out of a backpack. And the really liberating thing about it, the podcast being a better life. Like I felt like I had the best life in the world. Like I was single. I had sold everything I owned, and I had the small amount of possessions I had in a tiny little storage unit, and I had everything in my backpack, had no debt, and I was living out of a backpack in a tent with a friend hiking the trail off on the Appalachian Trail, and it was the best thing ever. Yeah. And I was seeing parts of the country that you'll never see otherwise, going through these tiny little towns. And the coolest part about the AT, for anybody out there thinking about doing it, which I highly recommend, by the way, I think you would love it. Your beard, you've already got the beard for it, man. You get trail names. Okay, so you don't get to pick your trail name; you just get a trail name. So I got the trail name Respect. So it's like out there, nobody knows you by your name. Nobody knows Josiah out there. They're just like, oh, that's Respect. But anyway,
that's funny.
I befriended this Vietnam War veteran, and I mean, just all these just amazing characters out there. But the coolest thing is, while you're hiking, you'll come down out of the mountains, and you'll come to a road, and there'll just be a table set up with just complete strangers there. And just a spread of food, like ice cream, burgers, hot dogs, everything. And it's just they call them trail angels.
Really?
And these people just go out there and they do nice stuff for hikers. And like you'll sit down to this amazing meal and you're like starving hungry out there. Because think about it, you're hiking up and down mountains all day. And you'll sit down to this amazing meal with these complete strangers and some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Some of the greatest meals I've ever had was meeting these complete strangers. They'll even sometimes like have you over to their house. Like I remember this one couple had me over, and they were like, "Hey, you can get any book you want off this bookshelf," and it was all like C.S. Lewis books and stuff. So I got like 2 C.S. Lewis books, took those with me, read them, and then put them in a hiker box, let other hikers have those books. But it was just amazing stuff like that.
One of my friends did it, and he said it's like halfway point or somewhere along the line that you have to stop, and at one of these small towns, you buy a gallon of ice cream and eat it.
Yes.
Was that?
Yeah.
Did you finish
There's a
your
gallon challenge. No, I didn't.
You didn't do it?
I have a lactose intolerance. If I eat ice cream, it destroys me. So, but I didn't know about that.
Gallon challenge.
Yeah,
that's funny, man.
There's a lot of crazy stuff like that out there.
You know, there is some truth to like. I just got in from 5 days of camping in the Grand Canyon with Rosie, right? We did the UTV thing, camping in the Grand Canyon. And I thought of this while I was out there. No phone, no technology, no clock, no watch. I didn't know what time it was. And the entire thing, my spirits were lifted. I was enjoying things. My back didn't hurt, which is wild that why would my back not hurt when I'm out in the wild, like sleeping on a rock, like things, I didn't have a pillow, like all this stuff, yet my back didn't hurt. I wasn't sad or down or feel like everything was great for 5-6 days, despite the struggle. And I remember thinking, like, there is a strong connection between like living a better life and nature.
Yes.
And I think that in modern civilizations, we are just losing it. Like we're just more and more and more losing that connection. And in result, we're seeing anxiety go up, we're seeing depression go up, we're seeing all these problems. And what if the answer was just to get outside more and do more things? I read a quote the other day that just rocked me. Just said, do more things that make you forget your phone. And I was like, well, that's a great, simple thing. Is do more things in life that make you forget to check your phone.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm going to make a t-shirt about that. You can get the t-shirt at abetterlife.com/shirt. I don't know if I'll have that URL made, but if I do, that shirt's going to be on there. Do more things that make you forget to check your phone.
Yes.
That's going to give you a better life.
Yes.
For sure.
I felt, I just have so many memories of walking through the mountains. You know, sometimes I would get kind of behind my friend or ahead of them, and I'd be by myself, just out in the middle of the woods, like, you know, I would say an hour or two from the closest road, just up in the mountains, just quiet, like the air is so clean.
Yeah.
I would come to a stream, fill your water bottle up, drinking out of these streams, and the water is pure and good, and it's like so exhilarating. And I remember feeling so close to God. Like I would spend time in prayer. You know, it was just like, and it's just like this, it's the anti-anxiety.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like, if you want to me, like, if you're struggling with anxiety, you need to get outside and, like, get quiet.
Yeah.
Right? It was so cool. It was so cool.
There's studies all the time that show that sunshine is the best antidepressant out there.
Yeah.
Better than any SSRI or anything like that.
There's a meme I see like a video meme that goes around like Instagram and TikTok. I see it a lot where someone would be like, "Oh, I'm sure I'm feeling down today," and then the person, you know, it's usually the same person acting two characters. Like, "Well, did you go outside today? No. Did you drink any water today? Not much. Did you? Were you on your phone all day? Yeah, mostly." And it just goes through this long list of stuff that we all do. And it's just like, it's so obvious. Like, why do we feel down? Because we're doing everything wrong all the time.
Yeah.
And it starts with, getting outside more. So
yeah,
I love that.
If you try to drive yourself crazy, I mean, just turn on a bunch of notifications and stick it in your ear. That's what we do all day. And that'd be the best way to drive yourself nuts. And then, like, the cool thing out there is it's quiet.
Yeah.
You got clean water and you're exercising all day. So exercise obviously does a lot for you as well. I mean, that goes without saying, but you're doing that all day, every day. And you're with friends. And you've got no agenda. It's not like you're stressed about anything. Your agenda is get up, hike, and get to the next point and go to bed. Yeah. So it was awesome.
That's amazing, man.